Seder of Bereishit, in a world that's become so very uncomfortable in the past week, we return to perhaps the most comfortable narratives of them all. The Torah's description of how the world came about and how people emerged at the end of the creation process and our place in the world. We shouldn't take it for granted that the very first communication of Hashem to humanity is Peru Uvru. Be fruitful and multiply. You, people, be like me. I created a world and I'm commanding you to create as well. What an awesome first conversation. Hashem has such faith in humanity to be able to work alongside him as partners in creation. Asher bara Elokim la'asot. The words that we know from Kiddush. That God created la'asot. Future tense, to do. And as the commentators say, Hashem created the most perfect, imperfect world. Had Hashem done everything, there'd be no room for human ingenuity, no room for us to play a part. But Hashem left the world in a state of imperfection, which was the most perfect thing he could have done. Because now we, in our image of God, with our intellect, with our ability to make moral choices, and our ability to make the world better, to improve, to develop, to nurture the planet, not to destroy it. La'avda'u l'shamra, to work in this world, but also to protect what's here. To recognize that there is only one world and we are charged to make this place the best place it can be. And to make those differences between Vayar Elokim et ha'or, that there is light, and separating from light and darkness. From water to dry land, from an environment where we can't live, to have two separate domains. We need the water, we need the land, and we need to make those distinctions. So as we revisit this week the first narratives of the Torah, we will do well to remind ourselves of our part that we need to play. Otherwise we will forfeit everything. We'll lose it. Humans have potential, but we can squander it. And if we don't live up to the image of God as part of our essential definition, then we lose who we are and we don't really have a place. We don't belong. And the world will recognize that those who don't belong have no place and ought not to be here. So let's revisit, let's take comfort in revisiting those narratives and those episodes that we all learn as children, and try and discover within them a message that we can take for today. To know how to make those separations between the good and the bad, the light and the dark. To know how to live up to being our true selves. To recognize that Hashem ultimately had faith in us to be his partners in making this world a good place. And those who seek to destroy do not belong in the world that Hashem created. It's obvious really why these stories are needed to be there. Because before we can be commanded to do anything, we have to know why can we be commanded? Why do the mitzvot take place later down in the Torah's narratives, the Torah's story? It's only after we recognize who we are. And we have role models of greatness that remind us that we too can be great and significant, and therefore ultimately can fulfill the commandments of Hashem. Let's not forget who we are for a moment as we start reading from Parashat Bereishit. Shabbat Shalom in its fullest sense. Shalom in completeness for ourselves and complete identity, and Shalom for the world, and more importantly our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom.